All right, whatever.
All right, so I don't need to tell you that in my community, the city that I represent, the city of Miami, you're one of the most illustrious representatives, and that we're very proud of you, not only the Cuban Americans, but the Hispanic Americans in my community.
Why is she leaving? I'm
So
going to answer her questions.
I will.
Oh, okay, I got it. Well, thank you for coming.
All right, so we're going to talk about, I just want to give you time to answer and then talk about Venezuela and talk about Cuba. So let's go back to Venezuela. Let's start with that. You said that stabilization, recovery, and transition. Those are the three steps that the State Department was going to implement in Venezuela. I believe that transition is the free and fair elections. The Venezuelan has a very robust opposition forces. We have Maria Corina Machado. So the big question here is that in order to avoid any type of misunderstandings like the one that we were hearing from my illustrious colleague, is that we should have free and fair elections that will bring rule of law, and the rule of law will then be able to bring in a lot of investments from the United States with transparency. Why can we not start right now the process of sending the message that we are going to establish, let's say next year, at the end of next year, a free and fair election sponsored with the United States, or by the United States?
Yeah, thank you. Well, it all ties together, so I'm going to try to use the...
It all ties together,
Okay.
Correct.
So let me first say about the oil stuff, which is a bunch... I don't even remember half the stuff that was being screamed at me, because most of it not entirely is false. Here's what happens. When there are sales of oil from Venezuela, they used to, sell it at a discount because of sanctions, and they had to do all kinds of evasive matters. Now they're able to sell it at market price to great benefit to the Venezuelan people. That money and those proceeds are deposited in a treasury blocked account at Citibank. That account, by the way, is audited by KPMG. KPMG has been hired and paid by the Venezuelan government out of those funds to audit every single expenditure. There is a list that's been agreed to by both sides, the Venezuelan side and the U.S. side, on what the allowable expenditures are for. So, for example, they've used 250...
I need to go to 3 other countries, so I'm not sure what the chairman wants to do, but I need to, I understand that you're answering her question.
Oh, but this is but it's tied to your point, because
right.
they'll be able to do the other ones quickly thereafter. Again, I know this is outrageous because I have to use your time to answer questions.
That's correct, but I need to serve the community. I need to ask you about other countries. So then
bottom line is the money that's spent in Venezuela is audited by KPMG. It only goes to certain determined points, and it doesn't go to the individual benefit of anybody. Those are just false, outrageous
So when can we pivot to free and fair elections?
So the second point is on the transition phase, which is the third phase. The second is stabilization and recovery. Part of the recovery phase is creating the conditions for a free and independent press. You need to have independent press in order to have free and fair elections. We've seen an uptick in that activity. It's not 100% there, but it needs to continue to grow. You need to give space for the political parties to organize and to mobilize, because you can't participate in an election if you haven't had the time to do so. And you need a new electoral commission. We've said that repeatedly.
And when
that
are
needs
we
to happen.
starting?
Well, we'd like to see it as soon as possible, but the reality, just remember, it's been 5 months. Not 5 years,
Correct.
not 50 months, 5 months. 5 months is not a long time for a country that had gone through what that country went through. But clearly, we need to have a new electoral committee, and ultimately, Venezuela's future is free and fair multi-party elections.
Correct. Let's go to Cuba. We know that your office is talking to the Castro family, and you're sending the message that the game is over, that they need to open up the democratic game. We know that, all right? So the question is, what's delaying that process?
Well, it's not that it's delaying the process. We've had conversations. We're having diplomatic engagements with the Cubans consistently over time, over multiple reasons, and for many reasons over the years. In fact, the CENTCOM was just down at the fence line in Guantanamo, not CENTCOM, SOUTHCOM, over the weekend as well. Our message to them has been very clear. If they want a path in which they can recover their country and save it...
But we understand that they are not understanding that. So then
correct.
what's next? So what can we do in order to make them understand that the game is over?
Well, we're not going to allow them to benefit from the game that they've been playing, in which they're stealing money from the Cuban people to the benefit of this conglomerate at the expense of the people of Cuba. What we are offering to do is distribute $100 million in humanitarian aid through non-governmental organizations. Well, now they say they've accepted it, but they're creating impediments.
But it has to do through the Catholic Church, and they're not willing to do that.
And others, Samaritan Purse. We have a whole host of
Organizations
organizations that are prepared to do it.